Alright everyone, welcome to the live stream for tonight. This is sponsored by Thisquality. I am Sam Hudson, the CEO of Thisquality LLC, or Limited, however you want to say it. And in tonight's stream we're going to be talking about the 1080 drop in the Tararuas that is supposedly happening this month. Now, just before I get into introducing everyone that's coming on this stream tonight, just the usual people, but if you're new here, I just want to introduce the current people in a moment, but for now, we've done quite a lot of investigation into this 1080 drop. And of course, you know, we have to get the facts. We have to do all this stuff before, you know, we actually make a news article or actually kind of get more controversial, if you want to put it like that, about the whole topic in regards to 1080 drops at the Tararuas. But from recent research, we have called up the appropriate numbers as a media organisation, and of course that media organisation is us. They have not given us a direct answer. We're going to give them another week or two to give us a direct answer, and if they don't, we're going to have to just tell the public, you know, this is what they do, to kind of you know, not inform the public of what's really happening. And of course, you know, if people are calling up you know, these people that are responsible for these drops, they want to know the answers too. But if they're going to get directed away just like us as a media company, of course we're going to have to, you know, just tell the public what's really going on. But anyways, I'll introduce everyone on the stream tonight. So in tonight's stream we have Mike Isles, the NZ Outdoors Party board member, sorry. So hello Mike.
Yeah, g'day all.
And then we've got Michael K, the NZ Outdoors Party Otaki candidate. So welcome to the stream, everyone. And I guess we'll move it on to the topic of becoming aware of the 1080 drop via social media posts. So I'll probably direct this over to Michael K, and he can have a little chat about that.
Good evening, everyone. So we basically became aware of this 1080 drop, which is covering quite a significant area of the Tararuas, and it's coming from the Masterton side, and it will be it's a significant, as far as we know. I mean, please, these facts are only what we can go on. Obviously, it is an election coming up. I'm not trying to sensationalize this. I'm just trying to give you the best facts that I can do. Unfortunately, as we narrow down on them, we can be more specific, but we believe the drop costs 1.9 million. We believe that it is to be is to be stationed from the Masterton side, and that Masterton Dock is organising it. We believe that there is still the process of the district health boards and things like that to have their say, well, that's more the health authorities themselves. And there's also, we firmly believe that iwi have a big say in this, and we're hoping that that our stream and the whole community can make iwi known that they have a chance to stop this. It would be a significant step forward in iwi negotiations, considering the expectation of Predator-Free 2050, which is that they will form a stronger and more cohesive relationship with iwi and be more informative. We don't actually see that yet, Sam? So,
and I think there needs to be like a kind of push for that, in regards to iwi, the local iwi actually speaking about it, and just on the topic of that, behind the scenes, some people that are involved. Now, I can say this myself, from research from our company side of things, not a conspiracy, sorry, but behind the scenes, they do get paid to basically zip their mouth and shut up about the whole thing, and that's not right for the whole community. The community should know when these things happen so that they can be more prepared. Whereas we don't want to have a 1 or 2 days notice, from a drop, and someone might happen to be out there even though there's signs. What if there's no date on those signs and they're out there and of course they get dropped on, or it's just those logical situations that matter for the local communities, and the iwi have a large say in it because they're part of the land.
And I mean, being the time of the year that it is in August, the person that first initially contacted me was very worried about snowfall, and just the interaction of the pellet baits on snow. That is a significant aspect to it. It's also one of our better rainfall times as well. So what has it's a very, very it's a difficult thing, but people that probably let's look at it from two sides. A lot of people are very, very pro 1080, and they believe it does a good job. Okay, and then there's the more you look into it on the other side, there's a lot of doubt. So to speak to the people that are a little bit pro with it, this area that it's being dropped in is, for our little place in the world, in Otaki and the Otaki Electorate, the water sources are exactly where these drops are going over. So that's the Ohau and the Otaki stream, and it's not ideal, man, to be having poison dropped into where your town water supply is. And it's not just like there's plenty of footage now that shows that there's also the carcasses of the bodies that have been poisoned, and they are going into those waterways. And a healthy food web and a healthy environment, you don't get animals dying in the waterways. And that's my major concern in this is, like, well, I hope that we can stop it, but I think that it's I'm not even really 100% sure. And Sam and I and Mike will do a lot of research to find out the methodology and the reasons behind the want to do this, and just specifically what it is that the pest that they're targeting. Because I would have really sort of thought there wasn't any need to go up there with such a huge poison drop. So you can all help. You can help a lot. Obviously, making other people aware of this. Questioning like we are that do we really need this sort of thing?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean it's a significant drop.
Yeah, definitely, and question it is going to help. I mean, as the government does, a lot of shady stuff. I'd say I was about to say a bad word. My bad. Shady stuff, but the media companies they don't question enough like these people, and they quote these people conspiracy theorists or crazy nutshells, if you want to put it that way, and there's no real research behind the articles that these news organizations have. And we're trying to get to the bottom of this, and like I said in many calls, and we have recordings of all these calls. We're trying to get to the bottom of this, trying to get an answer on why they're not releasing the release date for the drop in the Tararuas, and why can't they say that to the media? And we've already given roughly almost 4 to 5 days of just trying to contact them through multiple numbers, and we've always been redirected to go to Doc, to go to Osprey, back to TB3, back to Doc. And it's just a big train wreck. You more or less say it's the Metlink train station and the train tracks shutting down for a whole day because they don't operate, and then at times they do operate out of the blue. It's kind of the same perspective, if you want to put it that way. And it's just really unfair for people that want to understand that service they're doing, and try and figure out why they don't want to announce the times they're doing the service. Is it because they're afraid of people coming along and basically taking photos? I mean, that's the coolest thing. You want publicity for the aerial drops so that people can better understand it. But when it becomes silenced, it turns out to be more of a conspiracy according to the media, and that's not how it should be portrayed. But the government and these people doing the drops have made that conspiracy happen. And if they don't want conspiracies and misinformation spread around, and let the communities know, they should be more open and more communicative to the communities. Like they say, people need to contact them to get the answers of what's going on, but they just direct you like we've been directed multiple times as a media organization, just to numerous people that have given us irrelevant directions to other people. It just doesn't make sense. So I'll probably forward this to Michael K, and Mike Iles could probably join in on the conversation in a moment too.
So the significant aspect on this drop, like I said, is the effect on the water collection, and then as you go down these effects, for people that are pro 1080, I just want you to consider this. The next thing is there's a lot of people in our area hunt and gather their own food up in the forest, and we've just come out of a significant event where people haven't got much money. And to be able to be self-determined and go up there and control some of the foraging animals that, by what I know, there is, a significant population of pigs up there at the moment, that feeds a family. And, for 8 months after this drop, 6 to 8 months after it, it's really not safe to be going up there and collecting food in this way. And, we actually had a hunting ban and a fishing ban and all this so that we couldn't gather our own food through COVID. And we had a delay in duck shooting, and now we've copped it again. Now we're going to get, the one thing that Predator Free New Zealand 2050 says is that it's going to engage the community to control pests. Well, this disengages the community control pests because you can't even collect watercress, really, in my belief. And I did mention there a little bit about food webs. In a different doctrine of understanding conservation, it's a lot like farming. When we talk about regenerative agriculture or regenerative organics or permaculture, like we have done on streams on here, some of you may not have seen them, but the food web is incredibly important. The food web is just the harmonisation of all of the different little aspects of life that go together, that work together, and make a whole community of growing. And one of the things that I think is very special about the New Zealand Outdoors Party is the effort that it has put into, mainly via Sue Gray, who has studied the biology and that sort of thing, and passionate about it. That the 1080 actually kills a lot of that very, very small microbiology, and it means that you're starting to get a deficit in the food web. I think the biggest deficit we actually saw in the food web was taking out the forages in the middle of a mast crop, and a few drops that have happened, and then you have a rat explosion. Now that's well known in farming, and it's been well known in ecology or agroecology for about 700 years. So we actually are living under, or maybe we're not living so much. We're actually struggling under a ideology that is incorrect. And personally, that's why our policy around pest management is that people do it better than poisons. And of course. And it's good for us to be able to engage in the outdoors and manage those. And it's actually an enormous export potential earner, because the fur of possums combined with merino wool is a very superior product. And it's unfortunate that we've sort of gone down this track for such a long time, mainly because of the lack of local representation on these sorts of things like Predator Free New Zealand. And I don't mean to be a ruralite sort of slinging it at the urbanites, but these are mainly indoors people, and they're making plans for the outdoors and just need better representation. And I do agree with Predator 2050 that absolutely there should be a representation of Maori on there, but as long as they're listened to. So as we hopefully can have a wider discussion with the community about this, I really hope more people can engage with this idea of looking after the environment ourselves, and actually doing this ourselves, and it being a potential money making thing.
And our platform can help with that. We're trying our best to kind of give Michael Kay and all that a wording to kind of let the community know what's going on, because there's area not representing the people. So like local trapping, that could be a money maker, like it used to be.
So the future of Predator Free 2050, because like over the last couple of months we've been doing a hell of a lot of research for policy and stuff like that, and I've approached it from around this 1080 issue, by making sure that we understand everything that the predator-free 2050 actually is. So that means it's been an enormous amount of reading and research, and we've managed to sort of get it down to exactly what the proposal is. So the proposal is to eventually phase out 1080, and as far as I can tell, and it's to bring in this new one called PAPS. And PAPS is a much more aggressive poison, but it has an antidote. But I'm not sure that you're going to be quite as convinced that the antidote's any good. I'm certainly not. The biggest problem with the antidote is it's a bag that like a drip bag that you would carry around, and you've got to put a hypodermic needle into yourself and then put the drip through yourself faster than this stuff could kill you. I think it's actually a ridiculous proposition. The stuff itself lasts much longer in the environment than 1080, and it seems to be persistent once it's buried itself in the soil. So again, we're getting back to that food web problem where we're starting to break down the environment instead of enhancing the environment. And part of the problem with the struggling environment is that it is actually not thriving, and so we shouldn't be doing things that stop it from thriving. The other big thing, which this is a lot to take in, I know, but there's a huge thing that's been happening around the world that New Zealand missed out on because it chose to go GE free. Now that process, I've talked about it previously on the live stream. It pays to know our history. It was an incredibly robust decision that was made. Today we call that whole industry gene drives. You may like to look that up for yourself instead of relying on me and see what you think about it. But gene drives is basically the manipulation of genes, and it's commonly called extinction technology. This is in the Terminator side of it, or in New Zealand we already currently use a Terminator gene drive called SIT, which is in codling moth in Hawke's Bay. So we're already violating our GE law, and I really find that quite disgusting because we were actually promised a discussion about this. Well, the New Zealand public was, both by the current Prime Minister and the previous Prime Minister of the National Party. We've also had significant political parties, right down to little parties like us, that are pushing gene drives. And gene drives very much are a very contentious issue in the science community. And that is coming from people that have actually worked previously as genetic engineers. Now, we've got to really think about this. Do we want these sorts of things coming into New Zealand where it is a unique space? We've had the democratic process that went through select committees, it went through public submissions, it went through and it ascended to law, which was that we would be GE free. And I think it's a great travesty and a great risk to our exports and our export potential of adding value to our products to have this sort of thing in our country. It offers us nothing. And the amount of research that has been done in Canterbury University in evaluating that is significant. And, this is something that we're got proposed to not only control our pests, which means that basically the pest animals should become extinct. I mean, it's a lovely idea, but unfortunately it's transgenic. So we risk wiping out a fragile population of our native birds. We risk this being transferred to humans and having infertility problems in our own population and in Maori themselves. And we need to be fully informed about this sort of thing. And as Sam said, he tries to find out about something from his government, and he, as a young man, he expects to, as he would, like he would to his employer, that he would expect the truth.
Yeah.
And he's seeing grown people behave like children.
And especially the media.
Yeah, and it's not okay. And so we're hopefully going to be able to put out a little bit more information about this. It's been a great process to stand for Otaki, and to be put into a position where there's a large group of people. We don't all agree for sure, but we all have our skills, and I regard myself as a fairly good researcher, as is my partner. But I'm very grateful to others in the party that have been able to provide a lot of things this week, as we came up to this live stream to talk to you about the 1080 drop. I really wanted to know. I've had grave concerns about predator-free New Zealand and its structure, and it's only concern until you've got evidence, and I think that I've got significant evidence now to justify my concerns about them.
And in regards to them just trying to hide the information of the drops, just clearly shows it, really. Regards to calling them up, even me as a young one, I want to know the information, and even though I run a media company, I can't be politically biased, if you want to put it that way, through the 1080 conversation. But I would love to know the information. I mean, yeah, I don't have a family or anything because I'm still young, of course. but there is young ones out there at my age that unfortunately do have kids and families, and they're going to grow up, with all this media biasness towards the whole no research in the articles. It's all conspiracy theorists want to know when this drop happens so they can go protest. That's not what we want to know, It's more or less the research behind it, like Michael K said, the biological, the little I don't know what you call them, Michael, but the little bugs and whatnot that depend on maybe the mildew or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't do that stuff. Mm-hmm. But you know what I mean. There's little bugs that help the environment grow, and there's no research behind that. The only research I have done a lot behind is them saying that it's not harmful to humans and animals, but clearly there's been video footage over the years that have provided that proof. Now, a lot of people claim that, of course, when there's a drop, wildlife goes silent. It's really hard to prove that, but there is some videos out there that have shown that, and they've also shown wildlife like deer, like puffed up like a bloody balloon, okay? And clearly that wouldn't have happened if there weren't to be a drop, okay? So them saying that it's proven that no animal will go near it and eat it is completely a lie. It's made up. And the media kind of push for that only research in their articles. They don't do a further down research into the biasness of the people running the whole entire thing. I mean, look at them. They're wearing hazmat suits, massive suits when they're doing these drops. And just imagine if an animal breathes that in even. Is there a research behind the animal sniffing it, Does it get into their lungs? There's no research behind that as far as I know, and as far as people haven't questioned enough. And me as a young one, yes, I'm questioning that. I mean, it's really questionable. I haven't seen any research as to if an animal were to sniff it like a deer, like a deer. And does that affect their lungs? I mean, there's a whole lot more into it. If it affects a human's lungs and they're wearing, these hazmat suits, there's got to be a lot more behind it with the animals, just breathing it in, basically. I mean, even if they don't eat it, they might sniff it and be like, wow, that smells yuck. And then maybe a couple hours later, they'll start to feel the effects or just some sort of thing on it. There's a whole lot more that we don't know about, that could be in paperwork from them, but there's a whole lot more behind it that we still don't know about. And the people that kind of say stop the drop, you've got to do more research like us. We're trying to get to the bottom of this as a company and as a partnership with the Outdoors Party. And firstly, we're going to start off with the biasness of themselves. They don't listen to us, and it's proven. We've got audio recordings of them not listening to us. And even a young chap like my age, just imagine how many people they drop off on a phone call saying we'll email you, and then weeks later they don't email you any information about the current drops, and then they go ahead and do it. They say it's safe and all that, but that's just my own opinion. We've got to do the rundown of everything to get to know why it's dangerous. I mean, just the air spores, they could be dangerous themselves to animals. I don't know, I haven't seen any research behind that. And I think I'll pass it on to Mike Isles and just now in a moment, and he can talk about how he's tried to call up the people and just so he can share his experience, so you guys can get an idea. And if you guys do call them up, please send them to our email address on our website, or send them to the Outdoors Party page, or the page that you're watching the live stream on, because we want to know what you guys experience, so that we, as a reputable company, can get that information from both sides. Of course, their side, they want to dictate everything and not tell us anything, so that's their comment. We want to get your comment also, so we have both sides. Whereas the media, they somehow get access to these comments from these people and say it's all safe, but it's unfair for the independent media companies, and it's also unfair for the people of the communities that have a drop next to them without notice, basically, or with a week's notice. So yeah, I'll pass it on to Mike Isles and.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. I've got a couple of points. Firstly, the Outdoors Party itself is very opposed to any type of poisoning being spread across our country. It's toxic. It does not break down very easily, if it does break down at all, the 1080 we're talking about here. So the Outdoors Party are adamantly opposed to that for a start. On their website, you can see some writings regarding policy, and if you want to have a look at that, it's www.nzoutdoorsparty.co.nz. The other point I'd like to make is, as Sam just alluded to, if anybody's got any questions or would like to offer some assistance in researching and stopping this drop, they could send the questions to the page that you're watching at the moment, or alternatively to Mike Kay's Facebook page, or Sam Hudson's thisquality page on Facebook, or to his site.
We just need any kind of story. We just need kind of any story that you guys have that you've experienced with these people, so we can get that side of that. But yeah, anyways, Mike I'll pass back to you.
Sorry. Yeah, the consent process. There is a process that the two companies that are planning these drops, there's actually 2 drops planned as far as I'm aware. And it ranges from a line through Liven across the ranges to the Wairarapa, and it goes down as far as Carterton and back across through the Otaki Forks to Otaki. That's including both drops, if that's the plan. At this point, we haven't got a total confirmation of it, but we went through a big process. It took me 2 days to get a yes from somebody that this may be happening, which shouldn't happen. If there is something planned like this, everybody should know. The trampers that enter the bush, the hunters that enter the bush, the farmers that are skirting the bush and further downstream from the bush, the communities that are affected by water supply should know. So all of these things should be known to the public of New Zealand, but do we all know? I don't think so. So my little process of 2 days of inquiries took me from the Public Health Office, which drew a blank, totally had no idea of these 2 processes happening. So I then rang Horizons, who is the local council for the Horowhenua area, and I got told that DOC might have some information. Following up through DOC, it took a day for them to respond, and they finally said that it could be Doc Masterton I need to speak to. So a phone call to Doc Masterton found, yes, there's possibly a drop and it could be happening in August. So that's how long it takes one person to get the truth. Two whole working days, 16 hours to find the truth. I don't think that's right. It should be advertised in papers or on the internet, so that we do know the truth. Why hide things? There must be something wrong with this 1080 if they're hiding it. They're hiding it behind big veils of secrecy. That's my opinion. And lastly, hunters and collectors. I know of hunters from Wellington who come up to the Otaki Forks to hunt, and they are going to have to put that off for up to 9 months. I know of people from the Wanganui River area who also hunt all the ranges from this end all the way up to Wanganui. They are going to have to put off some hunting trips because of this. And the children, right. The children that swim in the Otaki River. What's going to happen to them if the substance is washed off the hills and into the Otaki River, which is one of the main contributors from those ranges? Are they going to be stopped from swimming in that river? If they gulp a mouthful of water while jumping into the river, are they going to become very ill at the end of this? We don't get the answers to those questions from DOC or from Osprey or from the Public Health Office. The Public Health Office tell us that one 1080 pellet is not enough to affect a human being or kill a human being. And I don't know that that's the truth. We need to...
No, that's not true.
Exactly. Mike.
Yeah. Sorry, Mike.
So
I didn't mean to cut you.
that's the process of researching and how long it took to actually get a yes that this may be happening, and no confirmed data or anything at this point. So it has to go through some public health office processes to be able to be dropped into the bush. So let's get together, people. I think the community that we serve, Mike Kay and myself, would like to stop this. There's a lot of hunters and gatherers in our community, and it's going to affect everybody from the seashore all the way back to the top of the range. And again, on the other side, Masterton, it's going to affect everybody on that side down to where the rivers run out to the sea. So let's get together, people. We want to stop this. That's all I've got to say at this point. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having that say on that too, and that's always great to have an opinion and whatnot, because we need everyone to get their opinions out there so that we can kind of gather all that information on kind of what they've experienced, take on them, because they don't want to take on us and our answers, our questions. Sorry, so why not we question them until they actually say something? And if we find them out in the streets, we will question them. We'll get the mic out, we'll chase them with the camera, and until they go inside the buildings, that's where we cannot go and film. We'll try and ask the official representatives, and it will get to the point. Our media company will get to the point, and I don't want to fret or anything, but we will get to the point where we will go to the council buildings and try and get interviews from anyone that walks out of the buildings, at the back of the buildings, anything like that, because they need to give us answers. And if they don't give us answers, it's just wrong, and we're going to push for that as a company to try and get an answer from their soap-filled mouths, I guess, if you want to put it that way. And it's just really unfair. It's really unfair for even us as an independent media company to get no answer and get directed for about, I think I called multiple numbers and kept getting directed for around about 6 hours in the weekend. So that just kind of puts a perspective into everything. Even just a normal person, they're probably going to get redirected just like we did. But Mike Isles has obviously gotten an answer quickly, because they probably thought he was just a resident of the town, so they thought they might get away with it. But when it becomes the media, we don't get any questions. It's just really, really rude. It's inappropriate, I guess, if you want to put it that way, for us to kind of inform the public, and that's kind of our role. We want to inform the public on what's happening. It's just really unfair, Anyways, Michael K.
So I think we need to be conscious of the toxicology of what 1080 is. It's a neurotoxin. So when you're looking what a neurotoxin does, it's basically it's affecting the brain, it's affecting the spinal cord, and it's something that you do not want to watch. There's a few videos out there of animals that have been tested with 1080, and one of them is a small dog. Maybe just keep that in your mind and be very, very aware that if we have this drop, that any little dogs that you might take into anywhere near the stuff, a little dog like that, like a little fox terrier or something like that, probably only a half a pellet would kill that dog. A very big dog, again, still only might be half a pellet or a pellet, and a human will be very, very ill, if not die, if they were to ingest a pellet. And on that, you're very hardly unlikely as a grown adult to sit there and get one out and put it on a plate and eat a pellet. But a small child will. A small child will play with it. You know, when I was a little kid, my mates told me that those things were raisins, and they weren't. They were sheep shit. So I think what you need to really understand is that when you've had at least a little bit of experience with poisons, which many of us have, many of us in the outdoors party have had some past where we've done some poisoning, and we've gone to great care with them. We've usually pre-baited, which you will with cyanide, and you'll use things that attract what you're after to measure how much is out there. Because with poison, what you want to do is you want to be getting you're not a cruel person, but you've got a job to do, and so you don't want to come back and collect up these things that have died a torturous death. Everything that dies from 1080, including the native birds, including the deer, including the pigs, everything dies a torturous death. Nothing escapes it. It's just that sort of poison. That's how it works.
Michael, okay, I'll just add something real quick. We're getting a bit of comments. They're wanting you to talk about secondary poisoning. How it's a huge risk also. Is that? Do you mind if I just get you to talk on that one too?
Yeah. With any poison, especially secondary poison in the a lot of people probably don't know, but pigs actually eat each other. It's one of the reasons why in commercial piggeries, even it's a good idea, even with free range pigs, for when they first farrow, to have them in a farrowing crate so they don't eat their babies. It's just the sort of thing. It's a weird thing that they do. I think they're almost trying to hide them from predators or something like that. Whatever it is, but pigs will eat each other. So, and pigs gorge, and usually a pig that's actually died from 1080, it's eating carrot, or it's eating, this is what it is, it's carrot, but it's also cereals as well. So they'll use cereal baits where they're specifically wanting to target a specific pest group. So they'll gorge themselves. So they have all a scope big belly full of 1080, and it doesn't mean they die any less painful death. It's a neurotoxin. It kills very viciously. But like with any poison that you use, one of the worst was phosphorus, which is sort of similar in its way, in the way it kills. It's a long, painful death. And with phosphorus, one of the reasons why it was eventually stopped, which was lucky it was because it was terrible, was all of the secondary and tertiary poisoning. Each time that animal that came along and ate, again, it's the food web, that ate on that animal was getting less and less and less until the last animal didn't die, which means it might, with phosphorus and with 1080, as we found out with those that couple that went up into the bush, got themselves a pig and brought it home, and then all poisoned the whole family. Now that is evidenced. That is actually a fact. They have been told that they didn't poison themselves with 1080, and it is actually a fact under the Official Information Act that they did. And so, but they didn't have a lethal dose, but they would have died if they hadn't had the hospital treatment that they need, which is basically your stomach being pumped out constantly and flushed with coal, really, basically, to try and soak it up. So a carbon substance to soak up the poison to take it back out. So yeah, secondary poisoning is obviously, if you're getting insects that die off it, you're getting the risk of tuatara, you're getting the risk of all of the small native insects that are unique to this or indigenous biodiversity. So it's a little bit tough that this year we had
again, Mike, what else eats the insects? Could it be the birds as well?
Oh, hell yeah.
Fish?
Yeah. Everything, like just everything in the environment is through a food web. The food web is the transfer system that carries it through. And you are part of the food web. If you're a hunter, you're part of the food web if you're drinking out of the water, and something that has been poisoned by 1080 has gone into your drinking water. I don't think it's good enough of Mike Joy to say that that the methods that he used were significant enough to say that there wasn't a harm or risk to that. I disagree. I think that was that's not scientifically based, and it's not fair. It's not fair to the people of New Zealand to do that. He should have said that. He should have said it was inconclusive, because if we've got so many drinking reservoirs that are from waterways, and we're very fortunate that we do have that. We've just passed the big waters bill. Why would we risk, when we know the rest of it further down is so degraded? Why would we risk degrading the bit that we have got?
The vital key, basically, to life.
Yeah, it's like poisoning your rainforest. So it's. I think we've got enough people that don't, just like Sam couldn't talk to anybody. It's like these people have got beyond talking to, in a way. There's a hell of a lot of industries that are set up. I mean, we sort of talked about one, maybe I think earlier on in one of the streams, which was a Christchurch startup where going for a long time actually. But it's a pest management company that actually harvests pests from the bush, like possums and things like that, or has contractors that are doing it. They feed those into that pet food place, and the pet food's all sold to the wider Christchurch community. They really, they support it. So it's all self-organised. It's profitable, but except for NPI keeps coming in every 4 weeks and doing an audit on it, which costs $4,000. So, this is the sort of thing that the New Zealand Outdoors Party, we know about it, and it's something that we want to react to and give more of these things a go. And I think Otaki is a prime place that could be doing this with pests. I mean, and that's not just pests in that environment. It's also pests in a domestic environment. I mean, trapping rats and all those sorts of things, they can all go into pet food. But, or if they don't go into pet food, they can at least go into compost, just not into the landfill. I think that's, and it's a good question that, secondary and tertiary poisoning, because, that could be us. So
and we've got quite a lot of comments for tonight's stream anyways. It's actually been quite consistent on the whole kind of 1080 topic. So I don't know if you guys want to say anything else real quick, but if not, I can quickly take it to all of these questions, because we've got a lot to go through. Just comments to go through tonight. And if you do have any questions right now, it's best to type them right now, so that we can answer them. Otherwise you might get missed out, because there's quite a lot of comments tonight. So anyways, I guess I could start it from the top and just read through. So someone said that it's supposedly happening, that's the Tararua drop, and it's listed by Osprey for July, and that's kind of where the rumours came around from. But according to Mike Isles, of course, they said that it was meant to be August. So I personally myself, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I personally believe they're trying to change, just trying to change it so that it kind of gets people away from the this month's drop, basically.
Can I just break in there, Sam?
Yeah, yeah.
There's actually two different companies doing drops. So
Right.
Osprey are doing one drop in the northern area, and Dock are doing a separate drop in the southern area of the Tararuas.
Right.
So Osprey could be doing theirs earlier than Dock. We don't know that answer. We haven't contacted them. So watch the space as far as the Osprey drop goes.
Yes.
They're operating for Tararua. Sorry, Mike.
Was it called, Mike?
It's just
Operation Kaka, wasn't it?
Tararua operational boundary. So there's this Northern Tararua operational boundary, and the dock one is called Project Kaka operational boundary.
Yeah.
So if you put the map up, Sam, it will show the people what the two areas are.
Yeah, we've got the map up now. If you want to take a look.
Two different companies actually doing the drop, so they could be at different times. They don't have to be at the same time.
Yeah, and I mean, rest assured. I mean, the thing is we've only just started trying to find out about it, so we're still working on the premise that this could be at any time, could be tomorrow. So we're waiting to see documentation. Obviously, they have to produce documentation from the DHB, and part of that, I know Nick Smith, that's standing in. Who's not going to win this time, who probably won't even stand. He was a list MP last time. He was too chicken. Because Sue Gray's going to win Nelson. He changed it. He changed it from the fact that we actually had a system where you could go to your regional council, and that would be a local system in a way, because that's people that we've elected as ratepayers and locals. We've elected these people that are our peers to represent us on our regional council, and so they had a very one-on-one situation of what they could or would not approve. And I'm sure, and I hope I don't put any crock, but I'm pretty sure that in our area that our regional councils were actually very, very good at being opposed to it. And, taking that out means that it becomes more centralised. I mean, I don't know, many of you might have watched the news today that, our DHBs are now going to be turned from 22 down to 8. Our policing is going to go from 9 commanders down to 6. There's just endless push to centralise things. And I just want to remind you that the Super City was one of New Zealand's biggest centralisation projects, and to date it sits there that it's sold most of its assets, it's deeply in debt, and it's got no water. And they've still got the same ex-prime minister at the helm of it, and if it's a sinking ship, it can't even drown because there's no water to drown in. So the fact that is not glaring the Labour government at the moment in the face and saying localism works better than centralisation is very sad, because it's not listening to the people, because people have been talking about this on social media. It's certainly central to all of our policy to bring localism back to local communities. We want to see New Zealand move from 86% urban back to what it was, because it used to be considerably, majority of this country was domiciled rurally, and they weren't being factory farmed. We don't think that really fits the adventurous and energetic people that we are, to be squished into a city. So yeah, that's the big process that's definitely changed for 1080 and for lots of other things. So Sam, was there any more comments or questions?
Can I just cut in just for one more second, Sam?
Yeah, go ahead.
The person that commented on the Osprey drop, I'm wondering if they could send us some evidence of the July date that they've mentioned. That would be great if we could get some feedback on that. Yep.
Yeah. Just send that through the page message system. Otherwise, you can always go to thisquality.com and then go to the contact us button on the right of the menu in regards to that. But anyways, we just need kind of information that kind of proves that drop is actually going to be happening this month. As far as we know, they're not going to tell us, and we kind of want to work as a community together to try and get that information out there, because the public need to know. We're already 16 days into this month. 16 days. And if they're going to do a drop on the 20th, that's not much notice. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important that we know that information. But yeah, anyways, I need to get through these comments. We've got a lot, guys. So I'll just read them out, and then you guys can do a quick response on them, just so that we can get through them pretty quickly. So what we got here? So we've got Missy Cook. This was sent at 1908, so that's probably when we started, 708. I think it's a she. She's a she. Sorry, my bad. Missy Cook said, "Stop the drop. There is no TB in the region, which is Osprey's region for the drop. We do not need this SHIT in our waterways. Go and talk to the Graph Boys and local iwi." So that's her suggestion in regards to how we could get it out there. Maybe we could collaborate, I guess. I think that's what she's trying to say there. Sarah Malone, she said, "It's a massive 42,000 hectare, I think that's hectare, proposed to be aerial dropped over the Tararuas." Missy Cook also says, "Buggerel life left up there these days." That was in response to Sarah. I'll just quickly go through a couple more, and I'll let you guys have your say on what these comments are, and you can always get me to revise on them. Daryl Jensen, "This stuff kills birds as well as the moorporks. They were nearly wiped out last drop." Chris Welsh, "The area on the Wairarapa side around the Arete," sorry if I get that wrong, don't know what he means by that, it just didn't fully. Pat Kopp, she said, "Absolutely stop the drop," with a thumbs up. Marcus Pinder, this one's quite a long one. "It's dead animal washed down on the beaches. These people that it's not going to affect me, it's going to affect, it's the carcasses that are toxic to the dogs and will affect them." Rana Jensen, "The cons of dropping poison as pest control for outweigh the pros. Back to the front, stop the drop." Any more? Daryl, one more time, the problem is, guys, poison kills everything. It has no target. Shrug face. Who else have we got here? We've still got comments coming in. Sarah Malone, she also says in a response to when we're talking about the drops, "Sam, it's money. That's what's at the bottom of this. That's probably why they don't want to mention it to us." Marcus Pinder said that he has done the research for the drop. Runner, he or she can't tell. Very one-sided story. It's like we are invisible. Daryl, again, one more pork killed by 1080 is one too many. Watch the space. Key extinction plus others. Here we come. What else got here? This is quite a funny one. We dropped in viewers for a bit, but Marcus Pinder also says, "We only have 4 watching. They could communicate with us," like as in give us a comment. But we're back up to around about 20 viewers, which is awesome. Any more? Just going through them now. Sorry, guys. Daryl, one more time. "What's going to happen when all these animals wash up on our beaches and rivers? All dogs who chew on one will be gone to a horrible death." I do got quite a lot of comments here, but I can't really go through them all. We've got limited time, I'm sorry, but just trying to go through them now. Soraya, so Nick Smith is an authoritarian. I think that I can't say the word.
Authoritarian.
Yeah. So she asked about that. Oh man, we got a lot of comments. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Okay, Marcus Pinder. They want to tell you till the few dates before they have a contact for the week before. I think what he means by that is they'll only tell you a week beforehand, so that people are basically less aware, in my opinion. One more from Sarah.
Stop there for a sec.
Yes,
Can
sure.
we ask Marcus if he could actually send us an email or a Facebook page that he's on that we could contact him. He seems to have quite a bit of information that could help us, and we could then help the community with the information that he's got. If he's got lots of information, especially since he's done some research into it, can we ask him to leave us either a email address or a Facebook page that he's on?
That'd be great, Marcus.
Just got to remind you guys that the Outdoors Party isn't like the Sustainable Future Party, the Green Party, or the Top Party. We do not have $100,000 donations or things like that. We're not fully stocked up as a war chest. This is all a people's party. This is a people's movement. This is by we are your party. If you want us to be, we will work for you. The thing is unfortunately you've got to do a lot of work too.
Yep.
But what we do is, as Sue will be tomorrow, she is going before a select committee. She will represent the people on that topic. As we continue to do, there's a lot not as much access to democracy as there used to be, even post COVID-19. If we want to say it's over, I'm not sure that they want to say that, but it seems to be. But that's our job. We go through all of this information, and we act for you. The more help that you can give us, everything we want to know. We want to know everything that you might find out. Every little bit of information, you piece it together, and every bit that you can do to help us. I'm not talking about donations. I'm talking about just the effort that you can put in to stop this drop. I think that we can make significant change in this country if we have your help and we help each other.
As Mike just said, help us and we'll help you. That's patting each other's back basically, and that's how we want to do it. As Mike already alluded to, we're not a rich political party. We're all volunteers basically, and we are for the people. We want the people to succeed, not big business or one person said that this is all about money, which it is. We know that. We want that gravy train to stop. Stop dead.
Yeah.
And we will try and get back to all those that put in comment and answer questions. I think you can record that part of it, Sam, and we can get back to them.
Yeah, we sure can. And if you always want to get in contact with us, just remember that we're always here for you. We're always here to try and get the questions answered on our side of things, because we're a media company. If you don't see the logo, it's just down there on the bottom right, thisquality.com. If you ever want to contact us there, if you got a news story about any kind of problem that you think is not right with how the government acts on community things, then always get a hold of us, or message Michael K on his Facebook page. He should respond. He usually does respond. If not, I'll respond for him and get in contact with him to give him the questions asked, and he can answer back. We're the reason why we're partnered with the Outdoors Party is mainly because they stand up for the people, and the people matter, and without people, we're basically nothing in the community. Without actual people that aren't robots, if you want to put it that way. Now, I don't want to sound stupid, but the government don't listen to people. They only listen to professionalism. Sorry, and that word clearly states that they're not up for the community. They would rather choose professionalism over the community and their thoughts and ideas, if that makes sense. So I think we're going to end it off here. We just got one more comment from Rand Jensen. Welcome to the stream, and thanks for coming in anyways. Awesome Outdoors Party, thank you. And one more from Marcus Pinder. This drop shouldn't happen. So anyways, if you guys want to say anything real quick be sure to say it quickly, and that will be us, and thanks for coming in for the stream tonight. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your comments, and we hope to see you next stream on Tuesday. If you don't know, click on the events page in our Facebook pages that you're watching this on, and you'll be able to see the event, and you can mark as going or interested to make sure you're reminded for the event next week. And we'll be talking about numerous topics. It doesn't matter, as long as the community wants something said, we can always have a little discussion about it and always promote it over the months coming. So yeah, anyways, if you guys have anything to say, let
Yeah, I'll just say thanks, Mike and Sam. Brilliant show tonight. It's brought out a lot of information, and it looks like we've recruited a lot of followers in our fight against this aerial drop, and let's hope we can stop it. Stop the drop.
And I just want to say that there is significant amount of candidates in the outdoors party now. We're covering most electorates. When we have all the information, we will be we'll be advertising Stop This Drop across the whole of New Zealand. So that's a significant media platform, and we just desperately need that information now. If we've got anything better than what we've got, and at the moment, please rest assured that with what we've got enough to get started on, and we'll be trying to organise a public meeting in the Otaki Horowhenua area about this drop as soon as we can, and we'll probably be inviting Sue Gray to attend.
Yeah, and if just stay tuned to the Facebook pages. Make sure you follow, make sure you like them, and stay tuned. You'll see an event pop up occasionally if we're going to plan something, and we'll try and sponsor those events to help them out a little bit media wise, and yeah, that's just what it's all about. If you want to go to those little meetups that they the Outdoors Party do, go do it. That they're more than happy to have you express your own feelings and your emotions against anything. So they're really open, and from what I've seen at previous protests with the Outdoors Party, they let anyone go on there to speak and just have a say, and everyone that's at that protest is always accepting what they say, no matter what it is. There's nothing wrong with it, just because the community are allowed to have their say, and that say of freedom of speech basically is getting silenced as we go into the future of this election year, and it's just going to get worse, and follow us. It's just probably going to be the best way to stay together as a community and stand against it. So yeah, that's just my say on those things, and anyways, I think that's going to end it all, and if you guys want to just say thanks to the stream, everyone tuning in, just go ahead and say that, and we'll end it off.
Yep, thanks everybody. Thank you for coming along and watching tonight, and being part of it as well, which is great to see so many questions and comments. It's awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
awesome.
No, thank you, everyone. I mean, the more people that we can get involved, and remember, this stream will be available afterwards, and we'll be cutting shorts out of it. Hopefully, we've got some highlights. I try to make them, which is sort of quite hard to do in the middle of the stream, but I can't even remember what I did in this one, which was a highlight. But please share those if you can, because remember that a little 2-minute, 20-second highlight can be shared across quite a few different platforms, and that really helps. It's not. Please don't think I'm trying to push my own wheelbarrow here. I'm trying to more so. I just want to be the absolute opposite of what's standing against me. So have a good rest of your week, people, and we'll be seeing you again next Tuesday.
Awesome, and thanks, Marcus, for getting those links sent through. We'll catch up with you after the stream, okay? All right, sweet as. Anyways, thanks everyone for tuning in the stream, and someone just joined, TJ Antipass. He said gratitude. I don't know what he means by that, but thanks anyways. Hope you all enjoyed the stream tonight, and be sure to check out our social medias, Facebooks, everything like that. Follow us. Make sure you stay in the know, or the now, if you want to, however you want to say it. and we'll always help you out if you have a story that you need out there. Anyways, have a good night, and hopefully you'll have eaten your dinner, because I haven't. And have a good one, and we'll see you in the next stream, everyone. Thanks.